So what if I told you that reality isn't something that just, happens to you, but something you actually build?
You probably think it sounds a little out there.
A little bit, yeah. But we're looking at this visual breakdown today. It's called You Are What You Think. And it makes a pretty aggressive claim.
It does. It says that your whole identity, the you that you are, is basically just a construct of your own internal story.
Exactly. We're not just dodging bad luck. And our deep dive today is to unpack the actual mechanics of how that's supposed to work.
And this isn't just, think happy thoughts. The source really tries to build a case for how your inner monologue creates your outer world.
Right, because the big headline is your thoughts create your reality, which, let's be honest, can sound a little bit like a bumper sticker.
Well, the logic they use to get past that is it's an agricultural one. They use a metaphor of the mind as a garden.
A garden.
Yeah, the core idea is about input and output. The source literally says, a seed that believes it is a flower will grow into a flower. Your mind is just neutral ground. It grows whatever you plant. Weeds, roses, it doesn't care.
I'm looking at the graphic now,
Right.
and you've got this withered brown plant for negative thoughts, leading to a pessimistic future. It looks, well, dead on arrival.
And the other side is pluming.
It is. But here's my question with these analogies. Thoughts aren't seeds. My brain is a mess of a million things at once. How does a garden metaphor handle that kind of chaos?
Yeah, that's where they pivot to the how-to. And this, I think, is the most interesting part. The source brings up a biological constraint.
A constraint.
It claims the human mind basically works like a binary switch.
A switch.
Specifically that you cannot feel happy and sad in the exact same moment. You can flip between them really fast, sure. But in any single microsecond, that one slot is either filled with a positive charge or a negative one.
So the bandwidth issue, you literally don't have the RAM to hold both.
Right, and that's their first practical step. Focus on one thought at a time. It becomes a game of displacement. If you consciously jam a positive thought in there, the negative one doesn't just get quiet.
It gets evicted.
It has nowhere to sit.
Okay, but that sounds exhausting. I mean, the graphic for this part literally uses words like fight, effort, and willpower. It admits this isn't easy.
And that's the positive power step. It frames this whole thing not as a hobby, but as a battle. If you've been planting weeds for 10 years, they have deep roots.
You have to actively override the default setting.
Exactly. It's high friction work, at least at first.
So what's the end game then? If I win the battle for that one slot in my brain, what am I supposed to visualize? Is it just, picture a Ferrari?
This is where it gets a little different, and I like the nuance here. The final step is build a positive self-image, but the instruction is specific. Envision yourself succeeding, yes, but specifically envision helping others through your success.
Oh, that's interesting. So it stops being about just feeling good.
And starts being about doing good. It connects your internal mindset to some kind of external utility.
A flower doesn't just bloom to look nice.
Right. It affects the whole ecosystem. The source implies that if your seed is just about you, it might not be strong enough. But if your seed is, I am a person who creates value for others, well, that's a much more robust identity.
Which loops us right back to the beginning. If you are what you think, then thinking about contribution literally changes who you are.
And it stops you from looking at the withered plants in your life, a bad job, whatever, and asking, why did this happen to me?
It forces you to look at your own hand and ask, what seeds was I holding 3 years ago to grow this?
That is a confronting idea, isn't it? It puts the responsibility right back on us. We are the gardeners. There's no one else in the greenhouse.
So here's the thought we want to leave you with. If this source is right, and your current thoughts are the blueprints for your life in, say, 2026, look at what you've been thinking about for the last hour. If that grew into a plant, would you want it in your garden?
Time to check the seeds.
Thanks for diving in with us.